SJ for Honorable Legacy. Wherever you are, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. Thank you for joining us for this week's HoLe Byte, where we'll discuss verbal hygiene. Yes, verbal hygiene for attending funerals or memorials as a guest. These are things that you shouldn't speak or discuss during a funeral or a memorial. Things like discussing the cause of death, unless the decedent's survivors are highlighting that cause of death. For instance, if it is cancer, they may choose to receive donations to a particular organization for that cause in lieu of flowers. Then that lets you know they're open to discussing the cause of death. Another is to speak of the decedent's role in their own death. Statements like, I told him to stop smoking, or she really enjoyed her drinks, or even he was depressed, or even discussing what was used to bring about the death is out of bounds. Another is to discuss the decedent's estate. Statements like, I wonder who will inherit the business, or I wonder who gets to keep the house, or I wonder who gets to keep her cats and dogs, is also out of bounds. Another is to discuss the decedent's relationship with their survivor or family. Statements like, they didn't really get along, or she didn't like that aunt, or even, he hadn't spoken to the family in 7 years, is out of bounds. You may be privy to information that the family or friends may not be aware of because you had a different relationship with the decedent. Please keep those details to yourself. Another is to discuss the decedent if they're laying in state, perhaps in a casket, to discuss them negatively. Statements like, whoa, he looks worse than when I last saw him, or oh, she looks shriveled. Statements like that may aggravate the grieving. Of course, you can make positive statements like, she looks great, or he looks great, even in death. Another is to discuss the nature or style of the funeral or memorial that the next of kin has chosen. Funerals and memorials are there to honor the decedent, but they also serve as a means to begin the grief work for the bereaved. So they may have chosen to incorporate some traditional rites, religious rites, or other elements of their beliefs into the funeral that may not really mesh with the values or the style of the decedent. Allow them to be able to do so, because that's also beginning their grief work. Thank you so much for being open to having these conversations, and I will see you next week when we continue the conversation on verbal hygiene.